In today's video, we're going to go over some creepy TikTok conspiracies. Let's get into it.
We are finally at the shed. Here it is. Put a lock on it. So let me get this lock off and let's inspect it. Quick little shed tour. The dryer, which is broken and super dirty. This is a little light. So when the police came in here, they went right here. They looked around. They didn't see anything. The washer is also broken. So you can see like pieces are broken off and it's yellow inside. Nothing works. I don't know what's going on with that. You got just laundry stuff. All empty. I don't know how it's empty because nobody has laundry. This is my new water heater. This is just some wood and cardboard boxes. He left the backpack behind and we didn't see it. So there's no backpack in there. There's no backpack behind it. It's just a bunch of blinds. There's nothing. It's just normal stuff. Yeah, where would it be? We have a couple gaps. There's no way anybody could fit through these. Oof. As you can see, all the walls are all solid. Let's walk around the outside. And there's the Ring camera that picks up the whole thing. You can see it's right there. This is all solid. As you can see, clearly no windows. It's all solid. There's nowhere else that he could have gone. He came from this way right here. So he walked around the side here, went to the shed there, and then the guy left coming out of here that way. The biggest theories with the shed was when the police came in the shed and the guy wasn't here, he went in the washing machine. And this washing machine is broken. So I'm gonna try to go inside and let's see, because he looked taller than me. Bro, there's no way anybody could fit in here. That's impossible. There's no way somebody could fit in here and hide from the police. This is the dryer, which is, I'm not gonna even try to go in there. Oh. It's impossible. It's impossible to fit in here. So I don't know where he could have gone. Unless he was hiding under these cardboard boxes or something, there's nowhere he could.
Very interesting. So yesterday I had a video of this playing of the guy that went into the shed and apparently possibly time traveled and turned into an older fellow that kind of looked like Bob Lazar, I'm not gonna lie. Just following up with this, apparently he put a security camera inside the building and everything for just in case it happens again in the future. The mystery is still not solved necessarily, but I was told in a comment that actually makes a lot of sense the more I think about it. This individual is renting this house out for an Airbnb. Who's to say that this was not all one big hoax to help push his Airbnb sales? You know, that kind of makes sense in a way. As bad as it would be to lie about something so major, it would probably sell because this individual has a very hot social media channel right now. He's got tons of likes, tons of views, and tons of people coming out and investigating this place. So I am kind of leaning on that. It might have been a potential hoax just to advertise his Airbnb more. Also, another thing to take into consideration are these Ring cameras and stuff. They do not actively record 24/7. They only record when something triggers them and sets the motion detector off. So it's a good chance that maybe the guy set the motion detector off and then came out of the building before the motion sensor was able to be set off again. But I am leaning towards it. This could have been a potential hoax for advertising the Airbnb. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that.
Quick thought. You ever wonder why you afraid of bees or why we grew up afraid of wasps and bees, right? Bees, man, vibrate. It's such a high vibrational frequency, right? They don't even fly. They vibrate. Bees are not bothered by you. They are born and they only live for life, probably 40-something days before they die. They would visit, they'll go around probably visiting 1,000 or so flowers just to gather a teaspoon of honey to die. That's how vibrational they are. They are so in tune with their life, man, that they don't even notice you. So the fear that we generate, which is a low vibrational energy, makes them attack you. So stop being afraid of bees. That's going to be my next tattoo. That's why I'm talking about this. I'm going to get a big bee somewhere, but I love bees.
How to say you love bees without saying you love bees. Have a big bee tattoo on your body. I do not necessarily believe that bees work off of a different frequency and they don't fly, they float. I'm almost 100% certain they fly. They use their wings to fly. I've seen a bumblebee without its wings and it was not floating or flying around with no wings. But I do believe that they can sense your fear, so you should never be afraid of them. Unless they're yellow jackets or hornets. I'm personally afraid of them. I was told a long time ago by my grandfather, it's just a wasp. Don't worry about it. If you're afraid of it, it's going to attack you. So I was just this little kid, not even afraid of the wasp. Wasp lands on me, crawls up me. I'm not thinking anything of it. Walks on my face and stings me in my cheek and my whole face is swollen. I'm terrified of wasps now. Even if you're not scared of them, they're still mean. Honeybees and bumblebees, I like them. They're not so bad. I have tons of them in my yard. But when it comes to yellow jackets or other forms of wasps, forget about it. What do you guys think about bees? Do you guys think that they operate off of a different frequency and they float and not fly? Let me know in the comments.
The world does not make sense anymore. I walked into a Chipotle yesterday and I see this super long line. And I'm like, okay, cool, it's normal. I get in line. And everyone in the line is just like on their phone. And I kid you not, every single person in the line is on their phone. And I won't lie, that's pretty common nowadays. Anyways, I get to the front of the line, the server's like, how can I help you? And I'm like, I'd like a chicken bowl. And the server just looks at me and he's like, no, you can't order here. And I'm like, I can't order here? Are we back in the 1940s? And he's like, no, like, we only do mobile orders. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm not here to like pick up Uber Eats or something. Like I'm just here to order and sit down. Server's like, yeah, no, I got it. We can't do that here. I'm like, what do you mean you can't do that here? He's like, this location only does mobile orders. So you need to go on your phone, order, and then I can make whatever you want me to make. And I'm like, but my brother, I'm standing right here. I can tell you what I want you to make and you could just make it. And he's like, yeah, we don't have the services for that. We just phone, see it, make it. Huh? This in-person location doesn't do in-person orders. So the barrier to entry to eat at restaurants now is to own a phone. What if my phone died? What if I didn't have a phone? I just can't eat at Chipotle. So then I had to move to the side and let other people go by while I ordered Chipotle on my phone. And then the order comes in, he looks at me, he's like, oh, I got it. Is this seriously what we're doing? Like, is this not wild? Or am I just overreacting?
Dang, I've only eaten at Chipotle's once in my life. I've never had it more than that. And it wasn't a bad experience. It was just really busy. A lot of college kids seemed to really like that place, or at least around the one that I went to. And like I said, it was okay. But for a restaurant to be online ordering exclusively, that's kind of crazy. I'm not necessarily against it. Maybe have a separate business that you can't even walk in because people are going to expect to be able to order food if you're walking into a restaurant. But yeah, that's crazy. And to not be able to work on someone's order while they're in the place, that's a little ridiculous. And I'm not blaming the employees. They're only doing what the job's permissions are allowing them to do. But still, that's pretty crazy. The world's definitely going to a digital era fast. The best thing in this case, if you ran across a business like this and you're not happy about it, I would have not ordered the food at that point. I would have just went elsewhere and taken my money to some other business. What do you guys think about this business model? Do you think that more restaurants or fast food restaurants are going to go this route to where they're just doing online orders only? I know in my area, they really do try to reward you for ordering online. They give you free reward points. They give you different perks for ordering food online at certain locations. Hey, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. I only ask once per video and I make a video like this almost every day. And to everyone that's subscribed and or watching, thank you so much for being subscribed, and thank you so much for watching. I'm really sorry if I do not sound 100% myself today. My lungs are on fire. I even had to call out of work today because I'm really struggling with breathing and everything like that. It's pretty bad. So I appreciate you being here watching this video while I'm sick. And thanks to everyone yesterday leaving comments on how to get better and wishing me the best of health. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I've definitely taken in some of your considerations on different teas with honeys, melanin, all the things. Trust me, it's working out of me.
Well, I guess everyone can stop brushing their teeth because the scientists finally got off their butts and figured something out. Scientists are about to test a new medicine to grow new teeth. Now, don't worry. Apparently, they tested this on some ferrets, and the ferrets said it's perfectly safe. Now, basically, they're going to take some juice, and they're going to inject it into you, and it's going to make you grow something called tooth buds, and then those buds are going to grow into new teeth. Now, presumably you don't already want to have teeth in there, so you're going to want to go ahead and eat a lot of candy and rot those out before you do this, which is probably going to be a pretty painful process, and having your rotten teeth pulled is also probably going to be a painful process, so maybe you still want to brush your teeth sometime, but in the long run, you're just going to be able to grow new teeth, and that's pretty cool. If you haven't been so good about brushing your teeth till now, don't worry about it. Just, you're going to be able to grow some new ones, which is pretty cool, I think. This is something that we've been waiting for a long time. New update just dropped, so we can finally get some better graphics on those teeth.
Wow, that's actually kind of neat, kind of scary sounding. Like, what are they doing that allows your body to develop more teeth? I'm not necessarily against this, but if we get into an age where we can actually grow new teeth as a full-grown adult, that's pretty crazy. And it makes me wonder, if you have imperfect teeth where they're crooked, things like that, because I do not have perfect teeth, could I take this medicine, grow new teeth, and control my body posture and the way I do things to help grow them out straight? That would be nice. So you do not need to have braces, or if you do need braces, it's just into the point where all your teeth are grown back in. It's a pretty cool idea, but I don't know if I trust it. I am excited though to see the future development of it. If you were able to grow new teeth, would you do it? If it involved taking a certain type of medication to do so, let me know.
I have a theory that Boeing is committing massive insurance fraud, and that's the reason John Bennett is no longer with us today. Let me explain. John Bennett, aka the Boeing whistleblower, was found deceased in a hotel parking lot on March 9th, 2024, after claims that Boeing is skipping safety precautions and letting faulty parts go into airplanes. So how does this contribute to the insurance fraud? Turns out, when a plane crashes, the manufacturer of the airplane will submit an insurance claim. 1, for the failure of the plane, and 2, for the damages on the plane as well. Depending on how many passengers are on the plane can determine how much money is involved. Let's say a Boeing 757, the commercial flight, crashes and everyone on the plane either sustains some injury or a lot of them perish. You're looking up to north of $250 million for a single plane crash. And turns out there are quite a few plane crashes each year, private and commercial as well. Now, if you didn't know, Boeing in 2021 actually had a case on them committing fraud and conspiracy, and they agreed to pay over $2.5 billion. That makes you really think it might be a actual plausible business model to actually crash your plane. If they're getting this much money off of a single plane, like, wouldn't it make sense that they would purposely make sure that their planes are filled with faulty parts so they can get insurance money?
I'm not a fan of airplanes, mainly because I know what goes in them and how it's handled for the most part. And let me tell you, nowadays it's very rare to catch me flying anywhere.
So China is making robot women. But to be fair though, it's not just China. Japan and the US are doing this too. So why start robots with women? Why are the first robots going to be women robots? And who needs one with 6 arms like that thing? So back to my original thought here. Why are these first group of robots that people are going to be able to buy and do whatever with going to look like women? Well, sometimes the most obvious choice might just be the truth. And I wonder if some of these robots that are being made that'll be distributed and the price will go down in the next 20 years are gonna end some relationships as we know it. I mean, think of it this way. What guy is gonna get married a second time when he could just buy a robot that'll do anything he wants? Now look, this isn't for me. I don't want no metal android with 6 arms too close to the Joe. But I'll tell you, if they start making these robots female affordable and looking like anime girls, most male and female relationships as we know it are done. Over. Nada. Tell me what you think about robot companions. Like I said, I'm not going to do it. I don't even want a toaster too close to me.
I'll tell you, in the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to be a really crazy time. We're just going to start seeing a bunch of people that's been locked in their house for a very long time, that's been really lonely, and they're going to be walking around with their new anime robot waifus. And hey, I'm not mad at it. If that's what makes you happy, go for it. And especially if they start implementing like that ChatGPT voice effect where they sound human, it's going to be really crazy. Now, I'm not going to lie, if I could get a robot to clean my house, specifically dusting. That's the biggest thing for me. I really like to have my house dusted, but I don't like dusting it. If I could have a robot do that, I would gladly pay like $20,000 for a robot just to be able to dust my house and sweep it and mop it. That's worth it to me. And if it can do other things like the dishes and laundry, hey, I'm okay with that too. But there's gonna be some people that are doing a lot more than just dishes, laundries, and cleaning the house with these robots. That's for sure. We could be seeing the early stages of the end of mankind as you know it. Let me know, if you were able to get a robot like this, would you be one of those people that would purchase it? I have nothing against it. I think it's actually kind of cool, but I bet they're gonna be expensive.
Breaking news is they have just done what in the UK now? What? Yeah, this is pretty interesting. A lot of laws and things have been changing in the UK recently, as I'm sure you're aware of. Trying to ban best friends in schools. Got her trying to demand £1 million now, like, what is going on? Now, is this a good or a bad thing? Let me know in the comments down below. We know for dangerous driving, using your phone when driving, if you hurt someone while you're driving, you get a pretty hefty punishment, right? Jail time, or you could go away for life if you kill someone. Cyclists, they didn't have to face that punishment, nowhere near the same amount as a driver would, right? Recently it's been suggested by politicians that this is pretty unfair because if you injure someone on a bike or kill someone on a bike, it should have the same consequences, should it? So now the same punishments there are for dangerous driving will be in place for dangerous cycling. If you severely injure someone or end someone's life, you are going away for the maximum time, the same as you would if you were in a car. Some people are even calling for it to be a legal requirement to put a number plate on your bike, so yeah, I mean, that's probably going a bit too far. So let me know if this is a good or a bad thing, and share with someone who's a cyclist, and as always, hit that follow button, I'll keep you updated.
I'm not against someone taking the same punishment as of hitting someone with a car if they were to hit someone with a bicycle, especially if it's a loss of life scenario. I can totally see that being held accountable. Let me know what you guys think about this law. Do you think it's a little too much, or do you think it's justifiable?
I have some fascinating new footage for you. This was actually captured down in Florida on May 15th, 2024. This witness and a group of his friends were out walking the beach late at night when they came across this washed up tail. I'm going to be honest. It does look like a mermaid's tail. Is it? We don't know. They actually don't know what it is, what creature it comes from. It just washed up on shore and it's massive. Take a look at this and tell me what you think this could have been.
Tell me what the fuck this is.
So you think it's like a giant motherfucking fish?
No.
Bro, it's something. This is the tail. It's like perfectly symmetrical.
I'd say that's definitely like a whale tail or something. That's not a mermaid tail, I don't think. If it is, it's massive. But it looks like it could be some sort of whale tail.
There's this article that came out in the LA Times. This article was called Lizard People's Catacomb City Hunted Underneath Los Angeles, California.
Interesting.
This man named Schufelt, he had developed this X-ray penetrating technology to where he could scan different rocks and stuff. He was in LA on this hill called Fort Moore Hill, and he drilled like 200 something feet down. And he's like, what the heck? There's tunnels and really big rooms. He's like, what the heck is this? He was telling someone about it, and they're like, you need to come meet someone. So he went to Arizona and he met Little Chief Greenleaf. This Hopi elder said, what you just discovered is one of 3 lost cities along the Pacific coast. So it was this people group called the Lizard People. They were called the Lizard People because their idol was a lizard. But this elder was like, this was a civilization. He said they were so far advanced. He's like, tell me more. He described the Lizard People's city being amongst these certain hills that exactly line up to where this guy found the thing.
Wow.
That's pretty interesting. I would like to know a little bit more about this. I've not heard of this yet. And I noticed he didn't say that they were lizard people per se. They just worshipped a lizard idol. So does that mean that they were people that looked reptilian, or were they just normal looking people that worshipped a reptilian looking idol? Nonetheless, it's a really interesting story.
I was today years old when I found out that this shirt that I'm wearing, this tank top that I'm wearing,
The actual name of it is called a wife beater. Yes, I'm not kidding. It's called a wife beater. Now, I kind of heard the term before about these shirts, but I thought they said white beater, like the color white. And to me, that's still crazy, but I didn't think nothing about it. But they called this a wife beater. And I had to ask myself, why do they call this a wife beater? First, I thought that men used to beat their wives while wearing this shirt, but then I looked it up. So there was a case back in 1947, I believe it was, where a man beat his wife so bad that she ended up dying, and he beat his wife while wearing one of these shirts. And the case went public, and I believe he got sentenced to life in prison. So y'all telling me y'all named this shirt after a man committed domestic violence on his wife, and he was assaulting her while he was wearing this shirt. Out of all the names y'all could have named this shirt, y'all decided to use wife beater. Now, I'm going to always call this a tank top because that's the proper name for it, but wife beater is insane, man. Like, that's just crazy.
I've been seeing more and more people on TikTok saying that they did not know that that's what those forms of shirts were called. And I've always only knew that that's what those were called. And I always felt a little silly asking about wife beaters. You could go into a store and like, yeah, I would like a pack of wife beaters. And they just know what you're talking about and take you right to the clothing section and give you a pack of wife beaters. It's crazy what they are called. But it does seem like there's a lot of people that were not aware that that's what a lot of people call those shirts. Did you know that they were called wife beaters? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there that know that that's what they're called.
Back in the day, bro, apparently Disney, they did this like documentary series called White Wilderness. This documentary won like awards. They got like an Academy Award, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
People thought it was a regular documentary, right? They're talking about like these little animals called lemmings.
Lemmings?
Yeah, lemmings. It's a normal documentary at first. Couple years after, they find out some really dark about the documentary. So in the documentary, there's a part where they show these lemmings on the edge of this cliff, and they're pretty much jumping off this cliff, like killing themselves.
Really?
Yes. In the documentary, they say that because there's so much population of these lemmings here, they keep on like having more babies.
Yeah.
That some of them just jump off the cliffs and kill themselves, try to get into the water, and eventually just swim out into the ocean and drown and die. Right? And for the longest time, everyone believed that that's what lemmings do. They just be killing themselves.
Yeah.
But it turns out that the people who were making this documentary loaded up a truck full of lemmings, backed it up onto this cliff, and was forcing all these lemmings to jump off of the cliff for the documentary.
What?
Yes.
For the documentary.
You could watch the documentary on YouTube. And if you look at it with the knowledge, knowing that they're pushing them off, bro, you see the lemmings trying to grab onto the cliffs. Like, they really don't want to fall off.
What the
And for the longest time, people just thought that lemmings killed themselves. Disney was literally just lying and just did that for the documentary for some reason.
What the
Okay, so
let's get into it, bro. So you think a lot of it is set up first?
I think
because let's be real. Because I always wondered. No. Because let's be so honest. You ever watch certain documentaries like about animals, like animal documentaries, whatever we do? This shot is insane, dude.
How did they manage to get the shot?
How did you find a fight between an alligator, a tiger, and a hippo?
Yeah. How'd you get that? How'd you get that footage? Back in the day, bro, apparently Disney, they did this like documentary series called White Wilderness. This documentary won like awards. They got like an Academy Award, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
People thought it was a regular documentary, right?
Man, I really hope that's not the case. Let me look this up real quick. Dang, I'm really ashamed right now. That is sad. Apparently, it was a thing that Disney did. They did load up a truck full of these creatures and force them off of a ledge. That's a shame. That's horrible. I know back in the day that they used to use real animals and they actually did harm animals in production and stuff, but that's an absolute nightmare. I don't know. You just imagine the people that had to actually go through that because it was their job. They probably felt horrible doing it. And then to keep it a secret as if that was just something that they were doing because they were overpopulated, that's pretty messed up.
Oh, but we may actually have, my friend. We may already have. Let's take a second to get a few people mad out there with these photos of excavated giant bones found all over the world. But why would they be mad? Oh, it's because these are fake. That's right. Every one of these photos of giant bones have been deemed fake, but I'm gonna show you the real ones. Photos like this are claimed to have been part of an archaeology Photoshop contest back in the day, but were they just part of a cover-up? Let's start off easy. These 6.5-foot femur bones are confirmed real and weigh around 1,100 pounds. But they were of course labeled as dinosaur bones, belonging to a species called sauropods. Real convenient being able to just slap a dinosaur label on any potential giant remains we ever find, huh? A lot of people will say, it's only one bone, where's the rest of the giant then? Oh yeah? Where's the rest of the dinosaur, mother? But you know what? They might actually be dinosaur bones, so let's not jump to conclusions yet. Like this two-headed mummy discovered off the coast of Argentina in the 1600s, measuring 12 feet tall and currently on display in a museum, confirmed by many physicians to be real. Now there's this, a giant skeleton over 23 feet tall, uncovered in Ecuador and 100% confirmed real, which was later dismissed as an ancient sloth. Like, come on, they're just making shit up at this point. Another photo from Ecuador. Kinda blurry, I know, but almost no evidence pointing to it being faked. Here's a giant footprint fossil in South Africa, 4 feet long and estimated to have belonged to a being 24 to 27 feet tall. And finally, there's this. A much more human-looking femur bone, and not as thick as the others. Dug up in the Euphrates Valley in Turkey, measuring 47 inches and estimated to have belonged to a giant over 20 feet tall. All confirmed real, and giant excavations like these used to get widely reported in newspapers all the time back in the late 18 to mid-1900s, but now they're always quick to sweep these under the rug for some reason. With the Smithsonian, the world's leading museum and research education institution created by the US government, accused of covering up all giant findings and instead putting the spotlight on how fake the fakes are. Like they did with the San Diego giant in 1865, which is one of the smaller ones, inspected by dozens of scientists and featured in many newspapers. After which the Smithsonian purchased the giant for a pretty large sum, and then all of a sudden, many years later, they dismiss it as a hoax, saying that it was made from gelatin and we never see it again. Google searches of these giant excavations will obviously only bring up the fakes, pushing the most ridiculous ones to the top of the search results. The problem with finding definitive proof of these giants is the internet is laced with these Photoshop jobs. So all the Google debunkers are quick to downplay any new evidence that comes up, like, nah bro, it's fake, didn't you read that fact check article bro, even if real evidence were to come up. But even if real evidence were to come up, the alleged Smithsonian cover-up can easily just write a bunch of articles that discredit it as a hoax. We all know this isn't the first time governments and tech giants were caught deliberately manipulating data to control the narrative. A lot of the time, the difference between a conspiracy and fact is time. Now, I'm not saying this is 100% one of those cases, but keep that mind open, people.
I really want to believe in giants. I want to believe that they still exist even to this day. They just live within Earth, maybe a hollow Earth theory. And yeah, I've never really believed any of the giant photos that I've seen online. Most of them look extremely fake to me. I have often wondered though, what if dinosaur bones are actually the bones of giants that people just say are dinosaur bones and they form them together to make them look like a dinosaur, but in reality they're just bones from a giant. And normally when we find dinosaur bones, we're not finding all of the dinosaur anyways, it's just a part of the dinosaur. So who's to say that some of these bones that are claimed to be dinosaurs are not giants? My biggest question though is why keep the secrets of giants away from us? Why would that be such a big deal? Is it because it's something that's referenced in the Bible, or what? Why would we not be okay if there were giants still to this day or even in the past? I would like to know that question.
There's something called your oversoul level, which are the 7th, 8th, and 9th dimensional chakras. 7th is your crown, violet. There's an area right here, below your throat, above your heart chakra, right here. This is your 8th dimensional gold chakra. And then there's a 9th one, a diagonal. This one's diagonal too. And the other one is this way diagonal. The 9th one is a silver chakra. Those 3 chakra are the oversoul, the archangel level.
I've been seeing a lot of chakra stuff hit the TikTok feed lately. I do not know why, and I'm not mad at it. I actually enjoy learning about it. This was a really short video, and the reason why I kept it in here mainly is because I just wanted to let you know that there is a lot of these videos out there on TikTok, and I'm just curious if you're interested in these types of videos, or if you want me to just like push those ones to the side, because I like them, but they're not as good as some of the other conspiracies and theories that are running out there, you know? So let me know in the comments if these are something that you're interested in, or if you want me to just, you know, not interested.
6 years prior to the release of Toy Story, Pixar released a short film called Knick Knack. They showed you hot location after hot location where all the knickknacks have on sunglasses. Then they take you to a land far away towards the edge of the shelf. They call it Nome, Alaska, but they make the pun Gnome Sweet Gnome, showing you that this is your home. This character is not wearing sunglasses because he's at the edge of the world where the sun barely reaches, the coldest place on Earth, Antarctica. He finds the edge, just like we did in Operation Deep Freeze. Then he proceeds to drill, just like they did in Russia. Then he tries to blow it up, just like we did over the Pacific Ocean. again, symbolizing the edge of the known world. At least every single Pixar movie. After all, Disney Studios filmed Operation Deep Freeze, and Walt Disney is an honorary member because he was there when they found the firmament of heaven and where it meets the earth. This is commemorated in his logo of the Magic Kingdom, depicting a firmament and a tower whose top would reach unto heaven.
Do you think you're awake because you know there's chemical trails and not condensation trails? Well, that's not even half the story, and I don't think you're ready for the full story. You ever noticed where they're dumping these trails? Have you ever noticed that they're always blocking the sun? And have you ever noticed that oftentimes you can see faces in some of those clouds made by those chemical trails? Faces that can literally look like beings or even dragons. You see, I used to see things up in the sky all the time. Here's this dragon's eye, its face, and even horns. And I just thought things resembled things. But then I woke up to the fact that we are living in a spiritual world. And I woke up to the fact that there is spiritual warfare going on. Spiritual warfare between the dark and the light. And I started to notice the more darkness I let in by thinking evil thoughts or having fear or being angry, the more I could feel it internally. But the light that I let in, the love and the kindness and the compassion and the humility that can control what you feel, and it can control the spirits that can actually dwell within inside you. And what I started to realize through prayer and communication with righteous men is that this isn't just chemicals, but they are literally dumping unclean spirits, not only to block the sun, but to inhabit our bodies. Because this spiritual warfare isn't about land or realms or anything of that nature. It's about souls. And the more light you can have in your soul, the more closer you can get to God. And the more dark you have, the more Satan has you. So if you want your best chance to save your soul, you need to do things to let the light in and not the dark. You need to resist the temptations of the flesh, the things that you know are not good, the things that in the back of your head you know you shouldn't do. You need to resist those and let the light in. You need to do things like fasting and praying and avoid all the chemicals that they're putting in everything, because those chemicals allow the unclean spirits to inhabit you more than you realize. We are literally fighting the fight of fights. And the first step in choosing the right side is having the awareness to know that there is a fight. And if you're sitting there and you don't realize the spiritual battle is going on within this realm, then you are going to fall prey and victim to the darkness. But you must choose the light. The light is where everything is, everything good. So even if you felt dark the whole time, it is never too late to go from dark to light.
Here we have a video from the mine explorer in France, where he goes down into...
I think I just figured out how the mud floods were done, like how we buried everything. The prior video showed a guy coming down into a tunnel system, which we have under every main city in the United States, possibly throughout the world. Now, the tunnels were probably used for a transport system referred to as the Hyperloop, which we're not going to go into now. Back to mud floods. How do we cause such a catastrophe that melts the entire world, causing buildings to literally fall in their place and just disappear underground like quicksand? It's a lot of mud. And although we talk about the Great Flood, that is not from rain. Well, I found out recently that you can liquefy sand with air. Watch this. It's a ball in a sand pit. They're blowing air, and it acts like water. Regular sand plus air equals liquefied sand. Well, imagine if there were buildings on that thing. They'd all be underground.
Filled to the brim with solid sand. This is one of the coolest things ever. If you take a tub of sand like this and then add air in just the right way, it basically becomes a liquefied soup.
Don't these mud-flooded buildings look like liquefied soup? How else would you explain all over the world buildings buried in mud? We all think that mud just comes from water, assuming it was a great flood. But now that you know you can create a great flood of mud using air, back to those tunnels. Here's a map of the underground railroads. These railways are underground tunnel systems with dirt above them. What would happen if a bunch of air was blown through the entire tunnel system? In fact, do we see mud flood territories mostly around tunnels and railroad stations? Here's the movie clip that triggered this thought.
They're beautiful because my mom says they only crawl out of the ground when the mountain moves. Cool, right? Nah.
Could be causing...
Listen to me, please.
Mud
Yeah.
flood. Air going through the mines could be causing the dirt above to just be pliable and sink. Now the question is, was this intentional? Or did the earth let out a giant fart and melted the world?
That's a pretty interesting concept. I've seen those videos of them blowing air into sand, causing it to basically liquefy, if you will. I'd say that's not too far-fetched from what could happen in the world, but the world is made of more than just sand, you know, it's a whole bunch of other structures that's solid. If it was a world of just sand, then I'd have an easier time believing this. But with other types of minerals, things like that, it doesn't move quite as easily as sand does. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, so I can't really make those claims, but it just doesn't seem like it makes enough sense to me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because it's not a bad theory at all. It just seems like there might be a little bit more to it, to the mud flood, than just air and sand. Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. As always, if you found any of these clips interesting, links are in the description down below. And with that being said, have a good day.